Okay, so I'm still getting over a bit of a little thing here, but um, so today I had a meeting about 2 hours away, and I had a chance to finish listening to permanent records. I really enjoyed this audiobook, I have to say. I mean, it wasn't. I saw Citizen 4 when it first came out, and I mean, it was shocking. It was truly shocking, as someone who uh, had some knowledge of um, all the things, I guess, really. Like, uh, I, one of my exes was a computer programmer, and so I had a fair bit of secondhand knowledge of computer systems and how they work. I mean, I don't pretend that I had a very firm grip or grasp of it, but when you live inside a certain world, you do pick up on a thing or two. But yeah, so Citizen 4 was very, very shocking to me. So I was pretty excited when this book came out. I don't feel like the book actually got into a whole lot of stuff that Citizen 4 didn't. There are a few more interesting, like, personal details, like how he got into computers. I mean, just how he ended up there, right? Like, it is his biography. It starts when he's a young boy, and it goes up to the present day, where he is living in Russia with his now wife, I guess. So I think, like, it was interesting. Those personal aspects were interesting to me. And then some of the nitty gritty details too, about like how he came to understand and get into all of those documents and stuff like that, and how he came to understand what was actually happening. That was also very interesting. Some of the technical stuff does get a bit like, he does a pretty good job of keeping it kind of accessible for those of us who aren't necessarily very deep into that kind of that whole world. But even with it being pretty accessible, it does at times kind of made my eyes glaze over anyway. But yeah, I did really otherwise really enjoy the book. I would highly recommend it if you are at all interested in how this amazing man came to blow the whistle and make us all aware of Big Brother. Big Brother's watching, right? I did want to mention it's narrated by Holter Graham. I usually try to, if I can, listen to audiobooks that are being read by the author, but this narrator does an excellent job. I thought he did a really good job of conveying the book. I have a feeling if I had read the book instead of listening to the audiobook, I might have actually DNF'd it, because I probably would have felt like I wasn't necessarily getting more out of it than I had gotten out of Citizen 4. But yeah, but overall, I really enjoyed it, and I would recommend it, especially if you haven't seen Citizen 4. If you haven't seen Citizen 4, and you're on YouTube, I'm afraid for you. Because then you are not necessarily aware of what is going on in your world. So I think most people have by now, but if not, it's worth a listen, and definitely worth finding the documentary online as well. All right. Yeah. I finally got a wonderful run in. I had a beautiful drive back. I mean, besides the audiobook, the moon tonight was just spectacular. The moon rise was amazing, and I got to, I got to enjoy a good half hour. I was like driving towards the moonrise. It was absolutely astonishing. So I feel really, really lucky. So I don't know, maybe that's biasing my experience of the book. I always wonder about that when you're listening to audiobooks. Like, I also listened to a podcast today. It was 3 books again, as usual, which is one of my favorite podcasts. But I mean, sometimes I don't enjoy. There's just some interviews where he doesn't really connect very well with his guests, or I just don't like his guests very much, right? So some episodes are not my favorite, but then like today I was like, wow, that's an awesome episode. But again, I wonder, how influenced was I by the fact that I had this like brilliant landscape to be appreciating as I drove. The sky was so clear, and the stars, where I live is very far from lights. There's very few lights and stuff, so the sky at night, if it's a clear night, it's brilliant. It's very brilliant. I'm very fortunate. All right, well, that's it for now. I'm gonna go get back to Madame Proust. Madame Proust and the Kosher Kitchen. Yeah. Happy reading.